Guys, Justice League is here. I'm sure you've seen some of the reviews and what people are saying about the film, considering that I've done a lot of coverage and gotten a lot of views from people that have been, following Justice League along with me. I wanted to give you guys my thoughts about this film. It's very interesting. Let's talk about it. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. If you love comic book movies, subscribe to the channel. We do those. We cover comic book movies. So subscribe. Oh, and shout out to Joe P, who got the nerd card question correct. Actually, just 30 seconds ago, answered correctly on one of my Dragon Ball Super videos. You know your stuff when it comes to Dragon Ball Super, so shout out to you, Joe P. There will be another nerd card question at the end of this video. All right, so let's get right into this, guys. I gotta be honest with you here. I don't have a lot of time. My weekend is crazy this weekend, so I don't have a lot of time to do like a full-fledged review and really get into the nitty-gritty of Justice League. I would have loved to have the time, do a better production, really break down my thoughts and do a great script. I will be doing a lot of coverage about the DC Extended Universe having to do with Justice League as we move forward, so you will get some really nice videos from me coming out soon. Oh, and I'm going to be doing a live stream on Facebook with James from the Rebel Scum podcast, where we're going to talk about Justice League in depth. Live stream on Facebook, and who knows, maybe I'll drop that on the YouTube as well, but head over there to get that. But essentially, this video is just what I have the time to do right now. It's not even on a good microphone, so I apologize about the quality. But here's the thing, guys. I really like Justice League. In fact, the beginning of the film is like a really dope ride. The way they start with the little camera thing with Superman, so awesome. It then goes into one of the best Batman scenes I've ever seen put on film. Just the way that Batman moved, it was very comics-like. Very cool. I would really like them to keep that aesthetic and to keep that style in the rest of these DC movies, no matter who's playing Batman and no matter who's directing it. I really love that style. The movie jumps around a good bit, and it touches upon a lot of the different characters, obviously. Their chemistry is surprisingly pretty good. I mean, we've all heard that from people. Overall, guys, I just have to say that there are a lot of things to love in Justice League, and if you are a hardcore DC fan, I feel as though there are things in this movie you've been waiting a long time to see. The way the mythology is used, the way they tie everything together, I really like it. And as a comic book fan, I found myself really having a good time with Justice League. I enjoyed the hell out of this picture, and I recommend people going and seeing it. Now, it has some serious problems with it as well. It's kind of a weird, it's this weird situation where I honestly feel as though if this movie had come out in the earlier 2000s or even in the early 2010s, this movie would have been hailed as really great. It would have been a triumph, and it would have set the whole DC Extended Universe on the right path. But because it's like nowadays, and I think, like, to be honest, we've just been spoiled with what Marvel has been doing over there, that this film feels like it's just a little too late. It's like too little, too late. Like, I don't know these characters enough to really get attached to them. It feels a little bit jarbled to have them all come together. I honestly would just have preferred it if you just go into the movie with them established. Like, that's what the DC animated films really do well, is like, they don't have to establish frickin' Batman and Flash and everybody's relationships to each other in every single movie. You just go in and you know it. And that's what you do with comic books too, you know what I mean? Very little people open up a Superman book and they're like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? Please, somebody explain this to me. And because, it's the film audience and stuff, and they're building this universe, they spend a lot of time doing that I don't think necessarily needs to be done. It sort of makes the film narratively very jarring, the way that it hops around, the way that it goes from one thing to the next. And I'm trying to keep it really light on spoilers here. I'm going to go in depth in spoilers later. But for now, this is just kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, stuff that places they didn't necessarily need to go, little things that they didn't need explained. It kind of falls flat. And I'll say this, the villain you know, he's cool, but he's kind of weak in a sense because the plot's super contrived. It just kind of goes the way we think it's going to go. I would say that, here's my thing, guys. The biggest complaint, and after this I'm going to talk about some really good things that I loved about it, but my biggest complaint with Justice League is that what it really feels like to me is like the pilot episode of a great television show, or maybe the first 2 episodes of a great television show. And it's only about 2 hours long, and it's like, man, when you get done with it, you're like, oh man, I want to see the next adventure. I want to see what happens next. And it doesn't, it like barely wets the palate of all this stuff that's happening. And you don't even necessarily feel super satisfied with what happened at the end. And you're like, man, I really want more. And who knows when and if we will ever get this particular Justice League together again. You know, Warner Brothers is going through it right now. They're making all sorts of decisions. They have a lot of things that they might change. We might never see these guys team up again. And I can't not think about that when I leave the theater. You know what I mean? So we're in this weird spot where, like, if this had been a television show, and this was the first 2 episodes, I would be basically telling everyone, you've got to go check this out. And I'd be so excited to see where we go from here. But you don't get any of that. So, you know, like I said, I'll get into more in-depth stuff later. Now, let's talk briefly about some of the stuff that I absolutely loved. Man, the scenes with Aquaman, the scenes in Atlantis, wow. And Aquaman in general, I can't believe how much I really liked Arthur Curry. I really, really enjoyed his character. And there's aspects of him that are like this rock and roller type, like, woo, we're killing parademons, all right, rock on. And I was like, nah, I'm not super down with that. I don't necessarily like that. I want my Aquaman to be either like the reluctant hero sort of guy, or like, I'm the king of Atlantis, mofo, like, fucking listen up, you know what I mean? Like, I want Aquaman to be either really like stoic and prestigious and like a badass, or I want him to be kind of like a fish out of water. You see what I did there? But either or would be great for me. And look, they did a great job with this character. I'm actually really intrigued to go check out Aquaman now, because I really enjoyed what he did in the film, and they make him really strong, and he does some really cool things. Man, I'm just a big fan. So I am looking forward to Aquaman. That was really surprising to me how much I like that. Ben Affleck's Batman, I just really enjoy. You know what's funny? It's like, honestly, I enjoy the Batman that they gave us so much in the film, but really none of that, to me, has much to do with Ben Affleck at all. It has to do with like stunt coordinators, people that wrote the film, people that really understand Batman and made him do crazy stuff that's like, wow, that's freaking Batman right there. And there's even some stuff I don't necessarily like about it. There's a couple humorous things where I'm like, not really feeling that. You know, Batman, you know, shouldn't be talking like that. I like the Flash character. He's interesting. I don't love him the way that other people do. People really, really liked Ezra Miller's take on this character. I think it's unique, but I didn't love it. However, the Cyborg character blew me away. I cannot believe how much I liked Cyborg and his journey in this film. Like, I seriously can't believe how much I loved Cyborg. It's just personal taste, but I was really into his whole arc as a character and the way that the tech was interacting with him. It was really, really cool. There are other things that maybe I don't want to talk about because they're spoilery, but there's all sorts of goodness. DC Comics, like, super cool nerdy flavor sprinkled throughout. There was this one thing that we were at the bar before we went into the theater, and I told my buddies, I was like, if this one thing is in the film, I will come out and say Justice League is a great film no matter what. They put that in the film, so guess what? Justice League, great. 10 out of 10, amazing. But it does have problems. So it's not actually my score. But I do really like the movie. I guess if I did have to give it a score, man, I really don't know. I have to sort out my thoughts on this. I'd like to say between a 7.5 and an 8. You know what I mean? If that score exists. Because there's so much that's done right. I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll tell you this. I'll say this. The 43% on Rotten Tomatoes is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This movie deserves, like, I would say at least 55 to 60%. There are films out there that get 60% or more on Rotten Tomatoes that I just, like, I don't get it. Like, I'm like, okay, you really like that, huh? It could be timing. Like I said, honestly, if this film in its current form came out in like 2003, 2004, even like 2009, 10, 11, I'd be like, dude, 90% 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie's fantastic, but we've just sort of, especially with superhero films, sort of matured our appetite where we want different things. We're looking for different things. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing for this industry to mature, for this genre to mature. And now with like Fox doing like the straight horror and the straight R movies, I mean, like Logan just kind of takes it to a new level. I like Deadpool. Deadpool 2 looks to be great. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. And that's what I mean. This Justice League film should have come out many, many moons ago, and it would have been considered much better. It's just a sort of weird kind of, it feels almost like it's out of time. But those are just kind of my thoughts on it, guys. Briefly wanted to go over this with you. I will do in-depth breakdowns of different things and get into spoiler material in the days to come. I apologize. This weekend is just really crazy for me, so this is the best I can do for you right now. All right, let's check that nerd card really quickly. I want to know, what are the names of the sons of Batman and Superman? Currently, there is a very good comic out there called Super Sons, where the two of them interact together. It's one of my favorite books I'm currently reading. So, what are the names of the sons of Superman and Batman? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day. See ya!